Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, I'll be taking you through a simple step-by-step guide on how to correctly fill out the personal information section on your CAS Shield Enroly portal. If you find this part confusing or you just want to make sure you get everything right the first time, this video guide is for you. I will explain each section clearly and highlight important details to watch out for, and this will help you to avoid common mistakes that could delay your application. So let's get started and make this process as smooth as possible. Now, before you get to this stage, you can see on my screen, I'm doing this on my mobile phone since most of the students fill the CAS Shield Enroly portal on their mobile phone. Before you get to this stage, you will first have received a mail from the university from CAS Shield. And once you open that mail, you want to scroll down and click on Get Started or Request a CAS as the case may be. Once you do so, you'll be prompted to set a password. You want to set a password, and remember that password. You need it to log in again when you want to take your pre-CAS interview. So if you have finished setting up your password, this is the interface you should be seeing on your phone. As you can see here, it says Begin CAS Request. So you want to click on Begin CAS Request. Now, this brings you to the personal information section, step 1. As you can see here, this student's name is already here, but it has been blurred out for privacy. So what you want to do here is to tick on this marker just after the names. And once you do so, it turns green. It confirms that the information is correct. But in the event that there's a mistake on your name, you can actually make a correction here. So you want to click on the edit icon, which is after the tick to confirm icon. So if you click on the edit, for example, you'll be able to edit that name. And once you are done, you would need to confirm that it is correct. So you need to do this for your given names and family name. And then there's a question below. In addition to the names already provided, are you now or have you ever been known by another name? If you had a previous surname, you want to click on yes, and you'll be asked to enter alternative or previous name. You just click on add alternative or previous name and save it, and that should be all. But if the answer is no, you want to click on no and then save and continue. It's important to know that if you do not tick to confirm your name and surname, the save and continue button will not be visible for you. So we have this tick confirmed. We want to click on save and continue now. It takes us to the next step, step 2. Here, confirm your gender. If it is male, you want to tick to confirm, and then you can always use the edit icon, which is after the tick to confirm. Now for your date of birth, let's just use 1st of January and year 2000. Country of birth, I want to search for Nigeria, and nationality is Nigerian. Again, tick to confirm. And then you'll be asked, will you be applying for your student visa in the same country as your declared nationality? That is, are you applying for your visa in Nigeria? You want to click on the appropriate answer for your situation. Please know that everybody's situation will be different. So yes, for these students. Do you currently hold or have you ever held any other nationality or citizenship? Again, click on the appropriate answer for your situation. For this student, it's a no. And because we filled everything correctly, we can see the save and continue button. Here you'll be asked to enter your phone number. Step 3 under the personal information. So what we want to do is enter the country code, and we'll just enter a phone number. And for permanent residential address, you would notice that your address is already here. If it is confirmed, you want to click and confirm, otherwise you can edit it. So we are just going to confirm for this student. Once that is done, you can save and continue. This brings us to step 4, Have you ever had any criminal convictions, charges, or penalties in the UK or in any country? Again, you want to truthfully answer these questions. Please note that you cannot always hide information from the school. One way or the other, they will find out, especially if there are charges that you had while in the UK. It will be easy for the schools to pick this out. So answer appropriately for your situation. For this student, is a no. We want to move to the next step. And please note that depending on the university, the questions might be slightly different and you may see a few additional questions. Now, step 5. At this stage, you need to make sure that your student ID is correct, your course, and your tuition fee for the first year. So if the student number is correct, tick to confirm. Your course, this information will automatically appear here. The course title, is it correct? The course start date, your tuition for the first year, and if your course comes with a work placement or not. If everything is confirmed, tick to confirm. Otherwise, you can edit it. Once that is done, we'll click on the save and continue to go to the next step. Step 6. Were you required to submit an English test as part of your application? Most likely this will be a no, except you are asked to provide an IELTS exam or a secure English language test. If you were not asked to and you are using your WAEC or your NECO, you want to click on no. You will now be asked, please explain why you are not required to submit an English test. You should click on the first option. My English was assessed based on my previous qualification. When you do this, scroll down and you'll be asked what qualification. So click on the drop down menu and select high school. High school here would represent our WAEC or NECO. But I've seen many students sometimes would want to click on bachelor's degree. But really what you should do here is high school because it is your WAEC or NECO that is used to assess your English language requirements. You would need a minimum credit in English in either your WAEC or your NECO. Once this is done, save and continue. Step 7 of personal information. Do you currently have a passport? Yes. You'll be asked to enter a passport number. So let's just do this. B2222222. And then passport expiry date. This needs to be a future date. So let's say 1st of January 2027. Okay, so let's use a different month. 1st of May 2027. And that works. You want to click on save and continue. Now we've moved to a different section, your history. Step 1. What was the last course you successfully completed? You click on the drop down menu and this would likely be either a higher national diploma HND or a bachelor's degree. So this application, these students CAS Shield Enroly were filling it for a master's program. So the last course is going to be a bachelor's degree. Select what is appropriate for your situation. What year? Let's say 2021. And then there are a few more questions. Have you ever traveled outside of your home country in the last 10 years? Let's click on a no. Do you have any previous UK study? If the answer is no, you want to click on no. If it's yes, you click on yes and you'll be asked a few additional questions. Did you receive a student visa for your previous study? If you click on yes, you'll be required to add your previous UK visa. If no is the answer, it makes the menu very short and you click on save and continue. Now, this part, step 2 for your travel history. Have you been granted any other visas, non-student, for the UK in your lifetime? You want to truthfully answer these questions. Like I've said, you can't always hide this information from the school. They will find out. So always answer the questions honestly and be transparent. Have you made an application to the Home Office to enter or remain in the UK in the last 10 years? for this student is a no. Have you been refused entry to the UK at the border in your lifetime? Have you previously received the visa refusal from the UK in your lifetime? If you have received the previous visa refusal, please click on yes. And you'll be asked to add the date and the month and what type of visa it was. And then later in the document section, you'll be asked to upload the visa refusal notice. So let's say no for the purpose of this video. Have you received the visa refusal from any country in your lifetime? If it is a yes, as with the previous question, you'll be required to add the refusal and upload the refusal notice in the information section. For the purpose of this video, let us say no. So those are the questions under travel history step 2. So you save and continue. Now this is step 3. Do you have anyone coming with you to the UK? For the purpose of this video, we'll click on a no, since most master's program no longer allow for dependent to join the student. Do you have a partner that is either applying for a UK visa or has a UK visa? For the purpose of this video, we'll click on no. Are you applying for your student visa with dependent children? No. Now you may say, what if my program is a research program that allows students to travel with their dependents? Should I click a yes here? My response will be to check with the counselor supporting your application. They will be in the best position to advise you. But generally, even with MRES programs, I've seen that most students still click on a no here. So once that is done, we want to click on save and continue. Now another section, your responsibilities. Step 1. Please read this information carefully. And when you are done, you want to click on I agree. Then save and continue. Step 2. More information for you to read and agree on. Consent to contact UKVI, process biometric information and use AI for identity verification. You want to read out this information here. Click on I agree, then save and continue. Now you'll be asked to add your deposit information. Have you paid the course fee? If it is yes, you'll be asked to enter the amount. But if you have not paid, you hope to pay in the coming months, click on not yet. You'll be asked, when do you expect to pay? So let's enter a future date. Let's say 1st of July 2026. Now you need to know that when this date arrives, if you've not paid, you receive a reminder to adjust the date. All right, so you don't need to be 100% sure that is the day you pay your tuition. If you pay your tuition before that date, you can always come back to CAS Shield and edit the information. And when that day comes, if you've not made your tuition fee payment, you can always adjust the date. Have you paid a deposit to the university for accommodation? So if the university provides accommodation and you've paid for it, yes, you'll be asked to enter how much. If it is no, you want to click on no, not required. So you want to check with your universities if there are accommodation available. But for most master's program, you can expect that students will sort the accommodation themselves. So for the purpose of this video, we'll click on no, not required. So here you save the deposit details. And this brings us to the finance section. You want to pay careful attention to this part. So you see that what you need to prove you have available. Your tuition is 11,800. This program is going to be held in London. The living expenses is £13,761, and that gives us a total of £25,561. So how are you planning to fund your studies and living expenses? Myself or family? But if there's a scholarship from the university, this option will be ticked already. If there is scholarship from the university, it will be ticked already. If no, if it is government sponsorship, you want to tick on this option and provide the details below. But let's say you are funding your studies by yourself and assistance from your family. You want to click on myself or my family. You'll be asked to enter the bank account details. So click on add bank account. What is the type of account? Savings account preferably if you are funding your studies yourself. What best describes this account? My own account, except the account is someone else's account. And then you'll be asked the country in which the bank is located. So let's say Nigeria. Now there are these questions we need to answer next. What is the current balance of the account in pounds? How much of this money is being allocated to your studies overseas? So you want to enter the total of your tuition and living expenses like we saw earlier. We can see it here under the second question. Remaining account to prove, £25,561. If you had paid the deposit, this money will be lesser. All right, so if you had paid the deposit and you get to this stage, enter the same amount you find under this second question, remaining amount to prove. So what we want to do now is to enter 25,561 in both sections, 25,561. Once you do so, it brings this remaining account to prove to £0. And you'll be asked, can the funds in this account be accessed immediately? Click on yes. And then you should see a caution that amounts under 125% of the required amount could be vulnerable to currency fluctuations. You want to proceed. So remember that at this point, they are not asking you to upload your bank statement yet. So don't worry about having to provide a bank statement immediately simply because you filled in £25,561. If you are done with this stage, you want to save funding details. All right. So if you get the figures correctly, this is what you should be seeing: £0, £0, and then save and continue. Total remaining £0. Save and continue. So at this stage, you are almost 100% done. Now there's a section recently added to CAS Shield Enroly portal for agents. This is because most CAS now will carry the agency details on the CAS. You may want to fill this part or leave it to your counselor to fill it, as counselors have access to CAS Shield even without needing your password. There's an agent login to CAS Shield Enroly, so they can log in to fill in this part. But if not, if you want to fill it, you can click on resume. You need to fill in the following information: the address of the agency, family name, and given name. But if you do not have this information, there's nothing to worry about. You can click on back to tax list. All right, so this is how you fill the information section of the CAS Shield. Once this is done, that is all you need to worry about. The next section, which is the general document section, your counselor will handle this part and upload your documents appropriately. So you want to check with the person supporting your application on what should be uploaded. Now, after preparing to take the CAS Shield interview, you would log into CAS Shield again. Click on menu, click on interview, and this is where you come in to take the recorded interview. So remember that before taking the interview, you would need to upload some documents here. Your passport would need to have been uploaded before you can take the CAS Shield interview. So you want to again ask your counselor to do this for you. Once that is done and you are given go ahead to take the CAS Shield interview, you can log in here to take the interview. Just click on the menu and then click on interviews. Remember, it is a recorded interview, so you want to have a good network background. You want to have your international passport ready with you on hand. your agent or counselor will prepare you before you take this interview. Remember, you only have two options for this interview. If you do not pass the interview after the first two attempts, your offer will be rescinded. So please always check with your counselor before you take this interview. Alright, so that is all for this video. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section. If you know anybody who would need this video to fill their CAS sheet, please feel free to forward it to them. Thank you.